Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Residents of Evil podcast. I am JJ, and today I am joined by ROE Team member Ollie.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And ROE Team member Tony.
Hey guys, how we all doing tonight?
And today it's going to be a really fun episode because we're going to be discussing our initial thoughts with the Resident Evil 3 Remake trailer, and then we're going to move into all the latest details that were featured in the official PlayStation UK magazine, and then there was some more leaks that we haven't discussed yet that we're going to be talking about. But today we are streaming this podcast live, so to everybody stopping in, thank you guys very much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them, and after we get done with our discussion, we'll be moving into the questions. We'll answer some of you guys' questions, talk with you guys a bit, so thank you all so much for stopping in. But with that being said, let's get right into the news today. So Resident Evil 3 Remake's trailer was unveiled at the PlayStation conference. We were all streaming it live. It was exciting. It was very epic. A lot of you guys were there to enjoy that experience with us. But at first, I want to get kind of the ROE team's thoughts on that and what you liked, what you didn't like, some things that stood out to you in that trailer. So I guess we'll go right to ROE team member Tony. Tony, what did you think about the reveal trailer for Resident Evil 3 Remake?
It was okay.
All right, that's a good.
No, I mean like it gave us a lot more than I thought. I figured that if we were ever gonna get like an announcement of this, it was kind of gonna be like a Resident Evil 2 remake type thing where they just say like, you know, like we do it and stuff. But they gave us like one hell of an opening. Like they kind of saw what 2's trailer did and then amped it up in 3. So like 2, you know, you get that start off with like the sheriff and the zombie and everything, and then Leon. And this one now you're just getting like Jill's running through a hall, like constantly like throwing things down, trying to get. It's like first person, and it's really hard to see what's going on, which was great. And then, you know, they go right into like gameplay stuff too, which I didn't think we'd see gameplay, and it was just kind of like they're going balls to the fucking wall with this, and I'm for it.
Yeah, definitely. What did you think? What was your initial thoughts, Ali?
It looks good. You know, we were wondering when we watched it if there would be some elements or an aspect of the game that puts you in first person, and they confirmed that there isn't. It's third person over the shoulder, no fixed angles. So we're keeping the same mechanics as the 2 remake, but it looks good. It looks like they're adding, they're keeping the concepts, they're keeping a lot of what we love, but they're adding onto it to expand on the story. Obviously, Brad's going to play a bigger part. We see Carlos actually going to the RPD is what it looked like anyways, talking about the STARS office. Looked like they're coming through that side gate. So there's a lot of potential. I'm excited for it. You know, we're getting close. We're, 2.5 months away, a little more.
And I from what they said, that we'll be seeing a new trailer very soon. So hopefully that's going to be coming around PAX South, which we're going to be at. So if they unveil it there, that'll be a pretty awesome experience to get to check that out live from the conference floor. If not, it'll be coming soon, so I can't wait. But myself personally, like you said, Tony, they didn't do a we do it again. They just showed us the trailer at PlayStation State of Play. I mean, everything in there, just seeing more Brad, more of the city. And the biggest thing that stood out to me is the city actually looks like there was a disaster there, an outbreak. Whereas in Resident Evil 2, I was like, the streets are kind of clean. It just didn't have that same feeling as the original Resident Evil 2 with the chaos that went on in the city, but with the Resident Evil 3 Remake trailer, we get to see a lot more of that, which was huge. We got to, if you pause the trailer in moments, you get to see a lot of cool things, like the hunters, the beta hunters are back. Mm-hmm. There was a small glimpse of it. We got to see Nikolai, Mikhail, some of the other team members, Carlos, and that was really interesting to me how he said we need to go to the Raccoon Police Department, to the STARS office. I was like, okay, he didn't do that in the original, so we're going to see some new elements there. But overall, finishing up with the Nemesis at the very end where his eye opens, man, that was a really well put together trailer. Like, I was a little worried too with the first person in the beginning, then they said it's not going to be like that. It's going to play just like Resident Evil 2. So yeah, overall, man, I was really excited for it, really happy with the way it turned out, and yeah, they just dropped it on us.
It looks like there's going to be a lot of action on the streets, that like not just us, transgressing the streets and everything, trying to get through and survive, but that scene when she meets Brad outside of what looks to be Jack's bar.
Yeah.
On the streets right there, it's not just Brad. I mean, there's other police officers, there's people running around. So we're going to be in the middle of the actual fall of the city. and then are we going to be the ones at the end when the city's destroyed?
That's very interesting. Yeah, if it'll follow that same route, but it puts us a little bit in Jill's shoes earlier than it did in the original Resident Evil 3 because she's actually standing in her apartment and then she runs out of her apartment. So there was a lot of lore to what she did before Resident Evil 3 started, but it looks like we're starting right from there. So there could be some new elements added, which would make sense because like Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 2, the original games weren't that long, and so they had to expand on them. So I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more story added here, some new locations, which I'm really excited to see. I just hope that we get the return of a lot of iconic locations, like the clock tower, the hospital, stuff like that too. And
definitely,
you know, also with Carlos mentioning about going to the RPD, maybe I'm hoping we get to play as Carlos more. Maybe we get to like not a chapter thing, but maybe like a B scenario. Yeah, that would be really cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
And if they kind of intertwined in a little bit more. But yeah, so overall, very exciting. Really like the way they showed it off, and I can't wait to see more. But then we can now move into sort of the news, the main topic of this podcast. And to everybody stopping in, guys, this is live. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions for us, you guys can ask now, and we'll get to those after the discussion. But we got a lot more details revealed in the official PlayStation UK magazine. Some good. Some not so good, and I made a video talking about this, but now we can actually elaborate and discuss it.
Definitely.
First, I want to hit on the positive. I want to try to keep this positive, and then we'll move over into the things that I'm a little disappointed with. So, for starters, Nemesis will use an improved version of the AI developed for the Tyrant and Resident Evil 2 remake. So, for Mr. X, you guys know how much more of a character, I guess, of an enemy than he was than in the original, where he would just kind of pop in. He was way more. That's the word I'm looking for.
Much more of a threat.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'm just kind of curious what you guys think that they're using an improved version of that. I'll start with you, Tony. What did you think about getting a new and improved AI for the Nemesis?
You know, I think on one of the old podcasts when we talked about like how he felt about Resident Evil 2, I think I said that how Mr. X was like an ex-girlfriend that doesn't know when to call it quits.
Yeah.
The way they're sounding it, the Nemesis is going to be like a vengeful ex-wife who doesn't know how to quit.
Mm-hmm. That's like, a good way to put it.
Rocket launcher.
With a and a flamethrower.
It's the equivalent of the old angry wife with the rolling pin from like the old like 50s, 60s cartoons and comics.
Oh God.
But that's what I was really hoping for. I was really hoping for like a much more aggressive thing, because I mean, Nemesis was far more aggressive than the original Mr. X was, but Mr. X in this one was still pretty aggressive, especially how they captured his fighting style. I mean, he just kind of like swung and stuff, but you felt it, you felt those blows. You didn't really feel them as much. I felt in the original RE2, but if Nemesis having a better improved thing, this means like they could do something where like his tentacles could come through the wall, or they could come up through the ground. You got to keep running by them or something like that. Because like in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Nemesis is his launcher, which is what you use to hit somebody in the air. He slams his fist in the ground, and the tentacles come right up. He could do stuff like that. They could really make him super aggressive. And a buddy of mine actually brought this up to me earlier. It's like, do you think they're going to give you more ammo in this game than they did in RE2 because of how Nemesis is? And I was like, yeah, honestly, we'll see. But I think that maybe because of his aggression, they'll add that. But overall, I'm excited to see how bad he's going to be, like a badass. And I assume that harder difficulties, like a veteran mode, he's going to be like an unstoppable force. That's what I'm hoping for, because I really want a challenge. Like X was a challenge, but I want more of a challenge. I want more like a reason to fear this character in this game to make you. Yeah, well, I'm a sadist. I don't know.
Yeah.
Masochist.
You brought up some good points.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. No, the tentacle thing, I never even thought of utilizing his tentacles more and with the improved AI. So that's interesting. I'd have to think on that a little bit. But yeah, what do you think, Ollie, of the new and improved Nemesis?
Well, they did say when they were talking after the trailer in the Japanese interview about there will be more emphasis towards action. It's not going to be all action. It's not going to be RE6 or RE5.
Yeah,
it'll probably be more in line with RE4, but just in the sense that there will be more ammo, because Nemesis, it has to be a sponge basically. There's no way you can take him down without putting a lot more than even Mr. X. How hard was it to take out Mr. X? So I think there is going to be more ammo. There's going to be more weapons. The assault rifle will most likely make a return. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
So that in order to balance that out, Nemesis has to be terrifying.
Yeah.
You shouldn't want to fight him even if you have ammo. So I'm hoping they bring. Obviously, with the AI that Mr. X had was fun because he would stalk you, but now he's going to run. I want to see him breaking through walls. In RE3, when he would hit Jill, she would fly back, like 10 feet?
Yeah,
sometimes. Yeah. In this case, if he hits her, I better see, her jaw gone.
Oof, that is brutal, man.
No, I'm just joking, but I wonder if that's going to still be all of it. He swings,
what the hell?
Decapitates her.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, though. Much more realistic.
But they did bring back the dodge function, so It looks like there will be the ability to dodge and duck and dip and dive and dodge. So.
Do a barrel roll. Yeah, definitely.
You could dodge a wrench, you could dodge Nemesis.
I don't know about that one, but
I don't think so. But yeah, I'm hoping he's terrifying, way more than Mr. X. I read in the chat, I didn't see who said it, but Mr. X did get kind of old after a couple replays.
I agree.
So having Nemesis be a little more unpredictable would be nice too.
Yeah, and now the thing that was strange playing the Resident Evil 2 remake is a lot of the characteristics Nemesis had in the original, they gave to Mr. X in the Resident Evil 2 remake. So I was like, okay, he's constantly pursuing you. And just the sound effects they gave him with the clump, clump, clump. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. This is definitely a taste at Nemesis. The only difference is Nemesis will fucking haul ass at you, and he has a rocket launcher. And now we see that he has an arsenal from the flamethrower in the image that we got after the trailer was announced. So he's going to have some different weapons, which is going to be really interesting because as if he wasn't scary enough. But I'm really hoping that the sprint feature is added. I think that'll help separate him from Mr. X. Also, because you're in the city for a large chunk of the game, it'd be really cool if he would use some things around him in the environment to attack the player. So maybe throw a car or, throw a zombie or something.
Just a whole car.
Take this car. You know what I mean?
Technically, in Operation Raccoon City, he pushed a bus after Jill.
That was a little excessive, but you know what I mean? Like just to add to him and to pump him up like they did with Mr. X. Some using some things around him in the environment to his advantage, I think that would be excellent. Or even using some things in the environment to your advantage would be excellent. Maybe shoot down some scaffolding that collapses on him. Or, just trying to think of some things that they could add to it. But even just having him run have him be just like Mr. X while running in a rocket launcher, that would be terrifying enough. You really wouldn't have to do too much. But, man, yeah, if they continue that same progression of Mr. X to Nemesis in the original with the new Mr. X to the new Nemesis, we're in for a treat with this one.
Yeah. Wait, what if they freaking give him the Gatling gun from Operation Raccoon City when you're fighting him in that whole that warehouse?
Does he really need more than a rocket launcher? God
yes,
damn.
He does. I want a challenge. I'm sick. Get me help.
The movie now, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think that's probably where they did get that idea from, though. Was the movie? Yeah. I think.
Probably. I did see in the chat people were talking about him being able to break into safe rooms. I would like to see that too, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing too that does kind of worry me a little bit. Is when you played Resident Evil 2 remake, Mr. X was there in the A scenario, and he was also there in the B scenario. So it was a lot of Mr. X. I was like, okay, well, we don't really have time to build up to it. He's just there. Do you really want where he's just on you no matter what? I feel like there's got to be a fine balance of how much he's pursuing you.
Certain segments when he shows up, like the original, but he just pursues you longer. You can't get rid of him so easily would be nice, but being able to, like you were saying, use the environment to take him out and put him down and get a chance to get some separation would be good. But I want that feeling of I'm not safe in a safe room.
Yeah, definitely.
If he's in the area, that I'm moving out of that area as quickly as possible. I'm not even looking for the safe room. I'm just trying to get the hell away from him.
And I think that, as long as he's in there in chunks and when he's coming around, then that's when he can attack you no matter where you are. I also had this really, I think, interesting idea because Carlos says that he has to go to the RPD, right? So what if you first bump into Nemesis playing as Carlos and you have the choice to shoot him or not shoot him, and if you choose not to shoot him, he just walks right past you. And if you shoot him, he will attack you.
He's not That's a good point. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and then maybe you could see some of the holes. Yeah. I don't know.
That was kind of like what the almost like the Predator in Alien versus Predator, where he was gonna kill the old guy in it, but he realized he was sick and just like let him go, and then killed him anyway because he shot him.
No honor in it.
Yeah, let the whole team go or something.
Like Arnold said.
Yeah, definitely.
We have Trash Town TV gave us a $10 super chat. They say, "Okay, just got here. I heard that the Nemesis will roam the map freely, and he won't really have scripted appearances. Is that true?" Ooh.
I have not heard that, but it's kind of expected.
Yeah, it was kind of talked about a little bit in the article which we are discussing right now, so thank you very much for that super chat.
Oh, okay.
But the fact that they're not scripted, it is a lot like Mr. X. I think a lot of there was a few times in the RPD where he would kind of teleport to where the player was, but just to have Nemesis with the AI they're giving him, the new and improved AI, and the aggression, just to have him just throw him into the map and let him go without scripting, could be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
that would be interesting.
I'm glad that they're putting the thought and the attention into Nemesis, because he was one of the things that stood out in the original. So it's a very important character.
It's going to stretch out the game. I mean, the game's named after him, so he better be in it a lot. What was I just saying? I just lost it.
Oh no!
No!
It's going to extend the gameplay if there's a hallway you have to go through, and he's coming at you. Now you got to backtrack and go a different route.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, you're not going to be able to probably replay the game and just fly through it. It's going to take some thought, and there's going to be times that it's going to throw that wrench.
Yep.
That's going to mess up your plan. So good luck, speedrunners.
Right? Oh god, I didn't even think of that. Okay. All right. Well, moving on to the next good news. Sound will be very important in Raccoon City. You will have to rely on it to anticipate dangers that lie around the corner, which I just recently got a headset and I went back and I played Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I did not appreciate or notice the attention to sound they put in that game. Like, I could hear it on my sound bar, but it's not the same as having surround sound in your ear.
Yeah, surround sound in your ears where you can hear Mr. X to your left down the hallway.
And now you'll hear Nemesis staying stars from, another alleyway, which the news like this makes me very excited because I'm all about immersion myself. So the fact that you have to rely on it now, and I'm assuming, they didn't say, but I'm assuming they're talking about listening for Nemesis, but just zombies, whatever BOWs are along the corner. Like, to me, that is really good to hear that they're putting that time into the sound in Raccoon City. Just go back to the original and just think about the wind and the zombies and the crows, all that stuff you would hear, and how ominous it made the city. And the fact that they're now doing that with the remake just makes me happy. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Ali, of the sound improvements?
Yeah, the sound is absolutely necessary. Like you said, when we were on the streets of RE2 Remake, it felt like it was missing a big chunk because there was no atmosphere. There was no crows. There was no anything happening. It was just the streets. It was just dead, empty space.
Yeah.
So the sound is very important. And with Nemesis stalking around, you're going to have to actually be listening for him. And then if you hear him, you're going to have to start thinking, okay, where is he, first of all?
Yeah.
Am I going to run into him if I need to go through that way? So we're really going to have to strategize and think about things. I was thinking, take Alien Isolation, how they broke it up into sections where the alien would show up. But the alien was allowed to freely roam the area while you're trying to solve the puzzles. That's what Nemesis needs to be. But obviously he's going to have the audio cues. And then just bringing the city back to life and things like that's necessary.
For sure. And from what we've seen in the trailer, what they've done with the city, it looks like they understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Tony?
That was the weakest part of the RE2 remake, I think, was the city streets.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the beginning.
I agree.
The beginning was great, but the rest, the time we went back to it was kind of lame.
I was very excited to go back to it, and I just it's too clean. It's just too empty.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like Raccoon City. What do you think of the sound improvements, Tony?
It's a definite thing that needs to be done. That was, again, one of my big disappointments of 2 was the fact that you just felt that you were in a dead city with literally nothing. And RE3 put more emphasis on the zombies and the crows and even Nemesis. Like, if you escaped him in one area, like if you go to the press area and he's outside and you start pushing the little stool to get to the button, you'll hear the Nemesis leave, but you can hear his growl outside and him leaving and stuff. And then he jumps down. Like, it's all about atmosphere with these games. And Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil remake, got the atmosphere very good in terms of visuals.
Yeah.
Everything. At night, you didn't really hear much when you walked outside, except for a dog maybe howling out in the distance, and that was really it. So, they really need to make 3 sound very dynamic to make you feel that fear, like something is around the corner, or you hear a glass break somewhere, and it has nothing to, like, nothing's coming at you, but you hear it, and that's what psychs you out, thinking, oh shit, it is what's coming, because it's a city filled with zombies. You don't know where they are half the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need those sounds. We need that ambience. We need glass breaking, boards breaking. We need to hear all that stuff. I mean, hell, we need, kind of like what they did in the original Resident Evil 3. We need to hear when they're like Jill's walking on broken glass or boards. We need to hear the different sounds coming from that.
Yeah.
Also, something everybody's talking about that we haven't really discussed is the soundtrack.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of move
audio
into.
As well.
Definitely. Yeah. And now this isn't, the soundtrack wasn't discussed in the article, but I think it's very important to talk about. And if they're putting a lot of detail into the sound, I hope that they took some of the feedback. And for me personally, I felt that when you use a classic soundtrack swap in Resident Evil 2 Remake, it vastly improved the game experience because it was much louder, it was there, whereas the in-game music that, that they made for it, I understand where they were going, much more ambient. They wanted to create the feeling of the environment rather than just having the music there in your face. But to me, music is incredibly important to Resident Evil. It sets a tone, and it creates a memorable experience, I guess you would say, because you think about that music as you replay the game, as you backtrack. You keep hearing it repeatedly, and it kind of gets ingrained in your mind. And, without the classic soundtrack swap, the music was almost non-existent in some areas.
Yeah, it was so faint, and just it had very little impact.
Yeah. Definitely. And to the point where, like I said, they improved the sound a ton, and I know they want you to hear their sound effects. I get it. But to me, it just didn't feel the same. So hopefully they kind of take some of that and not only improve the sound effects in the city, but they improve the soundtrack. What do you guys have anything to say on kind of the soundtrack and what your hopes are for the remake of 3?
There's a lot of the original songs just from the series, from the early parts of the series, where there was an emphasis on the soundtrack that I can just recall in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that in RE2 Remake. But like you said, applying that classic soundtrack kind of brought back some of that nostalgia, and actually it made the game a little bit more enjoyable than it already was. The game's already awesome.
For sure.
But just having that soundtrack back, and it could have been, just an updated version of the soundtrack would have been nice. And they kind of did that, but it was too faint. It just didn't carry. And like I said, there was no impact. So that's got to be pretty important, is the music.
Definitely. Anything you want to say, Tony?
On the same way.
Yeah.
You have to have a good soundtrack with these games, because not just like the characters, the graphics, and the sound, but soundtrack itself can make a game. And that's what we have had. The first original 3 Resident Evil games were so good with their soundtracks. You had that orchestra in the first one, then the second one's soundtrack is legendary all over. I mean, when they redid Darkside Chronicles, they did a great job with that soundtrack.
Marshalling Yard.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Oh, the Marshalling Yard.
I can hear the door close, and I can hear the beginking notes.
They did not, real quick, they did not do the Marshalling Yard justice in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Not at all.
Yeah, dear God, no.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, like I was saying, it's just, I would rather see them okay, if you're gonna do a new one, at least do what they did in 2. Give us the option for the old one, because you have the rights to it.
Yes.
So I did see in the orders, like the collector's edition, all that kind of stuff, there was an option to get the original soundtrack. I don't know if that's something like it was, but I'm thinking it is.
Okay.
I did see it on there that you can. So it's probably going to be something, if you wanted, that wasn't part of a package you bought, that you can buy as DLC or add-on. You can change out the.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say, I don't feel like that you should have to pay for that. I feel like...
I agree, yeah.
That was a mistake Resident Evil 2 Remake made, is making you pay for that classic soundtrack. That is very iconic to the game, and the fact that you... I mean, obviously, I reserved it and all that, but I think that should just be included.
Yeah,
but
I mean...
Just that it says digital double album soundtrack makes me think that it's not part of the included game, if there is an option to use the old soundtrack.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
it is,
see.
and it's just part of the package, but maybe it does come with the original game.
Would it be
I
cool?
I hope it does because I mean, I don't like DLC when they do shady practices like that. Like you can offer it because obviously the original Resident Evil 3 soundtrack. What else you have to do with it? Maybe tweak it a little bit to because from that PS1 era of music and stuff like that. But like tweak it a little bit to fit the newer sound. Not like you have to change it, but make sure it sounds good, like a good balance. But don't charge DLC for something that already exists. Like release it later. Like for people who buy the collector's edition or anything, release it like maybe 2 weeks after the game is out for fans to have.
For the soundtrack swap? No, that's got to be day one. I know for a fact if the soundtrack swap is in the Resident Evil 3 remake, from experience, the mistake I made playing Resident Evil 2 remake, I'm enabling it right away. It just helps so much. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Like, if you're not gonna release, if you're not gonna charge, if you are gonna release it and stuff like that, but you don't want to release it to everybody at once, don't charge us. Don't charge us money for it. Yeah, don't charge us money for it where it already exists. Because I've played a lot of fighting games where the character is it's like, oh yeah, here's the roster. Oh yeah, day one DLC, you're getting this character. And it's like, but if he's already complete, why can't we get him day one? Why do we have to pay for it?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
That's the kind of thing that I don't like what companies do.
Yeah. They're still trying to make money. I'm highly positive that they're going to charge people if they want the original soundtrack.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's just the way I see it. It's a business. But like you said, you're going to play it right off the bat with the original if it's possible. I'm going to play it with the new because I want to see their full piece of work that they did as a whole without any kind of outside influences.
Oh, you're gonna play with the original or the remake soundtrack?
The new one, just so I can get a feel of what they were trying to do with it, and then after I'll go back and play it with the old G one if it's possible.
I get wrapped up in nostalgia, and I played it. Yeah. I played it with the remake soundtrack and 2 with the remake outfits, and it's all great. It's excellent. The soundtrack is great, or not the sound. The sound effects are great. Their new outfits were great, but then I went back and I did the classic outfits with the classic soundtrack, and I was like, this is what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so soundtrack and sound is very important to a game. I'm glad that they're putting some more attention into that. Hopefully that goes into the soundtrack as well. More good news: the mutant worms will be back. That's good to hear. I mean, I got my reasons why I like to hear it, but I want to know, what do you guys think? Tony, are you excited to see that the mutant worms are coming back?
Oh yeah, the things that pretty much just grab Carlos's crotch or attach it to those boobs. Oh yeah, who doesn't want to see those come back?
those sons of bitches.
It's true. Like if you actually play the game and they do attach to Jill's boobs in certain angles and fucking Carlos got him in the crotch and shit. So it does happen.
Perverted worms.
Bunch of perverts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not more perverted than Resident Evil Deadly Silence and what you could do to Chris and Jill.
With your stylist.
Exactly. No, I mean, I like that those are coming back. They're not an enemy that a lot of people remember, but they're very special to that game in many ways because they do appear once in a while throughout the thing, and it leads me to hope that the Gravedigger will eventually be a boss for this game because he doesn't get that much attention. I feel that the Gravedigger or whatever it's called in Code Veronica gets a little bit more love because of who it killed in Code Veronica and all that stuff. But I think that this one needs to be in here, so I'm hoping that the worms are an allusion to the Gravedigger being in. So I'm happy that they're in. I mean, because that's the thing. One of the things we complained about back when Resident Evil 7 was, when we all finished it and we talked about it, was the fact there wasn't variety in a lot of the enemies.
Yeah, very lackluster.
And we need that. And I mean, Resident Evil 2 had its had its fair share of variety and stuff, but now we're getting hunters and we're getting now the worms, we're getting zombies, we got Nemesis and stuff. So who knows what else they're gonna add to the game?
The brain suckers come down.
Yeah,
definitely.
The brain suckers, and then the other one too, the brain demon, I think it's called.
When you're talking about audio cues, those things are what I'm thinking. Besides Nemesis, because they used to crawl on the walls, so you wouldn't know exactly what was there unless you saw it. But if it's more of an emphasis on audio, and those things have a really horrible, scary sound, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be excellent. What do you think about the worms coming back, Ollie?
I don't think they're talking about those little ones. I think they're referring to the big guy, Gravedigger.
You think so? Okay.
I think that's because who's really cares about the little ones?
Nobody. But I'm happy they're back.
Gravedigger was a big part of the game. That was an awesome fight that stuck with people. We all remember it. We all want it back. I think that's got to be what they're referring to.
Well,
I hope.
I mean, the reason why I'm excited to hear that the worms are coming back is because I'm hoping that means more. And yes, the Gravedigger is coming. That's what I'm hoping for. The thing that I was a little upset with Resident Evil 2 Remake is they cut some of the enemies. Now, did you need them? I guess not, but I think they would have improved the experience having the spiders, in the game, and the crows. Yeah. Like, that was something that was really cool with the original, and I was really disappointed they took it out. So to hear that, hey, the hunters are coming back, the worms are coming back, it's like, oh, cool. So hopefully we'll get to see all the enemies in Resident Evil 3, because I felt like every enemy in the game was memorable, even the stupid worms that attached to Jill's boobs, as Tony would say. Yeah. And the biggest thing is, yes, I'm happy they're coming back, because I think that alludes to the Gravedigger coming back. And if we can all agree, the Gravedigger to Resident Evil 3 was like the alligator to Resident Evil 2, except it had more to it. It was like expanded on. And I've been watching a lot of Tremors lately again, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that, in the coming months in the remake. So let's hope that they don't cut enemies. Let's hope that they bring all of them back at least, and maybe add a couple. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a liquor in the city.
They should put liquors in, because if that was always one thing I didn't like about the original 2 and 3 was that the liquors didn't carry over.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, they're in the city. Why would they not be in this game too?
That would make sense, especially because 3 takes place before 2 and then after 2. So yeah, I mean, they should definitely be around the RPD. That's an enemy I feel like a lot of people want to see Crimson Heads, but I feel like liquors are more deserving of being in Resident Evil 3 than the Crimson Heads are.
Like they were in 2. And technically, you do see a hunter in Resident Evil 2 when you play Scenario B and you go into that laboratory that you have to unlock.
Yeah, it's in the crowd chamber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I feel like Resident Evil 2 is deserving of hunters in a way, but hopefully they correct that with Resident Evil 3 Remake. I mean, we'll be finding out soon. Yeah. They did say that a new trailer showcasing more of Nemesis and Carlos will be coming soon, so hopefully we'll get to see a lot more of these iconic enemies, and hopefully we'll get a small glimpse at the Gravedigger. So that I'm just going over the news real quick. And to everybody watching, guys, thank you very much. To everybody who has been doing super chats and asking questions, thank you, guys. We're going to be getting to the questions after we finish up with the news on the PlayStation UK magazine. So thank you guys very much. But I think the last good thing I have here of good news. Well, there's 2 more. 1, Carlos will be playable. That's good to hear. I would be pretty disappointed if they said that Carlos will not be playable. There's actually a lot we could talk about with this one. So I do want to get into Carlos will be playable. That's great. I'm hoping that, again, his area is expanded on, like I said earlier in the podcast. Him going to the RPD, maybe bumping into the Nemesis brushing past him. I think that would be excellent. And it would be amazing if we got maybe 2 campaigns they tied in together more than the 2 campaigns in Resident Evil 2 Remake. But are you guys excited to hear that Carlos will be playable once again?
Yeah, definitely. He has to be playable if you're going to remake it. But giving him more story would be good. Like you said earlier, I mean, I'd like to see his own whole campaign.
Yeah.
But with more interaction with Jill than what Leon and Claire had in the remake of 2. So that would be good if they had more interaction. But also, give us some more story elements. Give us a little more info on who Carlos is. Let us get used to him. Because I think they said that he's not going to be the same as he was before. He's going to be a little more hardened, a little more mature. So give us, some backstory on him. Maybe just a little bit more of his character. And I want to see some infighting in the USBC.
Oh, okay.
As Nikolai starts to enact his plan and be as ruthless as he is. I want to see Carlos be like, hey, man, that's not what we're here for. We're here to rescue people.
Yeah, check yourself.
You just, to show some of that uneasiness in the team and make us hate Nikolai a little bit more, because Nikolai's the other bad guy in the game. So
definitely, and I think having that story between when the team first arrives, just like we're gonna get the story from when Jill's in her apartment, I think that would be absolutely fantastic. And going back to S.D. Perry's novel, we could see sort of the things that went down before the game kind of starts, like where Nikolai shoots Mikhail in the gut, and is the reason for his injury. Will they keep that the same? I don't know, but it would be awesome to see. Are you excited to hear that we'll be playing as Carlos again, Tony?
Oh yeah, cool, Carlos. Yeah. Foxy ladies. Yeah, love
Foxy-
the accent, yeah.
Foxy lady.
No, I mean, no. This was something that this is like every Resident Evil has had this so far, where you play as the side character assigned to whichever character, and of course, Resident Evil 3, there's no secondary like character you play as after you beat the game. You know, like how there's Chris and Jill, and then in 2 it's Claire and Leon. This one it's just Jill. So I think this is where they have the time to really let Carlos shine, because they don't have to bog down the game with extra development for other characters and other actors, where you could just have that. I mean, personally, if they don't give us this in the main story and they kind of keep it the same but throw in a couple new areas, give us the assignment. The separate ways Ada treatment. I know like Resident Evil 4 might not be everybody's favorite game, which actually just turned 15 years old the other day. So happy birthday to that.
Let's get some happy birthdays in the chat for RE4.
Yeah, exactly. But what I liked about that was it showed what Ada was doing the entire time Leon was trying to save Ashley and going through, and he was fighting all the monsters in the game and stuff. I think if they do something similar for Carlos, you could just be what was it, downtrodden hero or something like that. You know, you could call it like whatever. You could see him like get separated from his platoon. Like there's like an explosion, he gets separated from them, that kind of thing. Yep. And I think that would really add to the game by letting him do that, you know. And like you said, like how like he could come across the Nemesis, how I would do it, kind of almost like how they did it. And I'm taking from Apocalypse, which I know is blasphemy, but I think this was kind of cool. When they went to find that helicopter that dropped like all the stuff in the building, they only found the empty cases. Yeah. So I want like Carlos to like kind of like walk into an area where he hears the Nemesis, and he hears it throughout the area he's in. Like say like he's in the RPD, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he never meets them. He hears them, but he never sees them.
I got a funny idea. Or Jill comes running by Carlos so fast he doesn't even know what's going on. He's like, what the hell was that about? Nemesis bursts through the wall right next to him. He goes to the ground and just looks up like, what the hell just happened?
Guess I'll just see myself out.
I think I need new pants. But no, like something like that is like what I would really like to see them do, because this is the end of the Raccoon City chapter of, I mean, aside from like, Resident Evil Outbreak and such, but this is really where this is Capcom's time to shine and really put some, because like we love Resident Evil 2, but there's a lot that 2 left to be desired, and the fact that you weren't on the streets as often, there's a lot you can do to really win people over and make this game a truly worthwhile game. And I hope they did listen to people in the past. They're listening. I mean, obviously the game's coming out soon, so it's already complete. So it's it's only speculation of what we can want now. But I think really giving Carlos his own side story, and then even with Nikolai and anything, give him like have him hunt down the other members of the Watchdog unit. Like that could be this game's ghost survivors, but it's actually canon.
That would be cool. Mm-hmm. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And if Carlos gets his own campaign, he's going to need his own boss fights.
Definitely.
That would be great.
So there will have to be a couple other big baddies of some sort, whether it's, maybe it's a super hunter or something we haven't seen.
Or Mr. X.
Or maybe a brand new enemy. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, something new would be cool too, but he's going to need his own challenges.
Definitely, if that happens, which that would be really interesting, because I'd be excited to see what they could add. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out to somebody in the chat who said, when I was going through enemies that were cut, like the crows and the spider, somebody said the giant moth. So F to the giant moth.
Yeah, F for the moth.
Damn, man. All right. And then moving on to the last bit of good news, we got confirmation that we'll visit the streets, the shops, the Stagla gas station, the Raccoon press offices, and the hospital. Man, this is really good news, because those are some of the most iconic locations in Raccoon City and in the Resident Evil series. And that was one thing, in my opinion, that sort of separated Resident Evil 3 from the other Resident Evils, is the city felt alive like the RPD did in 2 and the Spencer Mansion did in 1. The city had depth to it, so it wasn't just streets that were sort of a labyrinth, but there was also these places you could visit that changed up the scenery, that kind of helped with progression and helped the game flow. And a lot of these places you would find items, or you would have puzzles that were specific to what building you were in. And I thought that was really cool. So I'm very glad to hear that we're getting some of these places back. I hope we're getting most of the places back. But yeah, what do you guys think about getting these areas back?
I'll let Tony go first, because we'll go back and forth. I'll let you go first.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really happy a lot of these areas are coming back because, one of the great things, one of the reasons why the original Resident Evil remake was so good was because they brought back everything and they just slapped a new coat of paint on it and added new areas to it.
Yeah.
And, that's what made the mansion feel really complete. And with all the stuff that they added, like the library where you fight the giant snake and such, you only find a smaller library in the original Resident Evil with like 2 zombies in there and stuff. And then you can see the helipad out in the distance. But Resident Evil 3 has all these iconic areas like the bar that Jill goes into, the boutique
Jay's
shop,
bar.
the back alleys.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Yeah. And obviously there's the hospital. We better be getting Raccoon City Park. I swear to freaking God, if that doesn't end in there, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna get George Costanza crazy. But because that's my favorite level in the all of Resident Evil 3 because it's so really well done. I've talked about it enough on the past podcast, but no, I'm really liking that they're really bringing back. They want to bring these back, and I just hope that honestly all of them make it back.
Yeah.
And they add new areas too, because I mean, obviously the gas station that's famous in Resident Evil 3, and it's famous in Operation Raccoon City because you fight at it a couple of times for 2 different scenarios. So. And if they understand that certain things have to be in here, like I said, they can't make the same mistake they did with the marshalling yard.
Oh no! Press F for the marshalling yard. My favorite area in the original Resident Evil 2. It's gone. We got a bathroom instead.
Favorite area.
The bathroom was cool, but I still would rather have the marshalling yard.
Yeah, like I said, I really hope that if they do add any new areas, if they have to take away areas that are older ones that they don't think will fit, like the Raccoon City Park or even the Dead Factory, if that's something that they choose to do, which I think will be stupid if they take away the factory.
Yeah, definitely.
I just hope that whatever they put in will make up for what was taken out.
I just hope nothing's taken out and only things are added.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think, Ollie?
Yeah, definitely. I think there needs to be a lot going on in the streets. It needs to feel like everything's falling apart and just chaos and just hell on earth.
Yeah.
Returning to these locations are nice. I think you have to. There's, just because story elements and stuff that they're going to try and remake it, some of those places are absolutely necessary, like the pharmaceutical building, the small one that you go into.
Yep.
And then we see in the trailer at the end when they're showing off Nemesis, but the first shot is that hallway. That's a typical hallway for a hospital. So I'm wondering if the hospital is going to be redesigned to actually look like a hospital now.
Yeah, that did look really good.
Because I work in hospitals. That's how they all look.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to actually like really explore the hospital too, to see some of the different areas and be able to travel through there. Would be cool.
But real quick on that, would you want to see a very realistic take on a hospital, or would you want to see a little more artistic like they did with Resident Evil games? Like okay, for the RPD, for example, it was a museum that was converted into a police station. It doesn't look like any police station you've ever seen. It was very unique, very gothic kind of architecture. Would you want like because to me personally, I felt like that was what was wrong with the streets, is they just looked too much like real streets that were empty. I kind of like that artistic style to Raccoon City and the architecture.
Certain areas will give to the artistic side, like waiting rooms, reception rooms, all that kind of stuff fits. Main lobbies, that's all artistic, and then the hallways are more realistic, I guess, but not plain. There needs to be evidence that shit has gone down there. I want to see shit in the hallway, like dead bodies. I want to see blood. I want to see stretchers and stuff, and just hospital beds and wheelchairs and all the stuff that you would see just look like there was a fight, because the hospital is obviously going to be a point of focus when everybody's getting sick, so that's going to be one of the places that goes down first, and it needs to
Ground
look,
Zero.
Yeah, it needs to look like it's been through war.
Yeah, definitely.
And then as well as the rest of the streets, and getting back some of the locations, like I'm wondering if we're going to see some of those areas that stick with you. Like there's the part where you go down in the sewers. There's kind of like a parking garage, mechanic shop, but there's the bus with the body hanging out the front. I think I'm seeing that, right?
I love that.
Right?
That was one of the most epic shots in that game.
Yeah, that kind of stuff needs to come back.
Definitely. Yeah, that
just as a like, hey, we know you guys remember. We remember too.
Yeah,
you probably remember this. So here it is.
Remember.
You remember?
I remember.
Remember bodies through the window? I remember.
So yeah,
I agree with you guys. I'm right there with you. Like I feel like I feel like I would, if you're going to remake the game, I would like to see everything that was there back. And if you could add more to the game to enhance the experience, because you do need to make it longer, then I am all for it. But I want to pose a question for you guys real quick before we get into the depressing news that's going to make everybody sad. If you had to pick one location in Resident Evil 3 that absolutely must return, what would it be?
The clock tower.
Good one. What about you, Tony?
I still gotta go with my favorite. I gotta have the Raccoon City Park. I have to have that.
So you take the park over the clock tower.
Has to be there.
Okay. I'm with Ali on this. I would have to have the clock tower. And a really interesting fact about the clock tower, it was originally a church that they converted into the clock tower, but obviously. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to see that with the RE engine, the remade clock tower. That was such an amazing part of that game, and it wasn't like just a little part either. It was decently long that was there, and it just definitely had its own style, its own architecture that really stood out.
That is the one thing, is they were all unique. All these locations were unique, so they need to feel unique again, just grander, bigger.
If you could pick,
that's the thing about the clock tower too. It was like that because like the streets are the first half of the game. The mid-center of the game is the clock tower, and then everything else after is like the end of the game, pretty much.
Yeah. If you could pick one area
when you really think about it, well, the clock tower itself, that's a pretty decently long part and everything, but the hospital, the park, and honestly, the Dead Factory, those things are really short when you get right down to it, especially the park.
Oh, for sure.
So,
if you had to cut one, which would it be?
Sorry, what was that?
If you had to cut one, what would it be? What would be your? Because they're all good, but what would be the one you'd cut if you had to make the call?
Probably the gas station. It was so it was important for what we had to do, but there wasn't anything majorly special about it.
Yeah.
I would have to say it's probably either a toss up between the electrical place, it's either that or the medical place, the pharmacy place you go to.
That little tiny,
that would
little big pharmacy.
I'm gonna say
that or the power plant. As much as I love the power plant, because like I love the presentation when you finally turn that corner and you see the whole damn thing, which technically must be in the game because we did see that, or at least we think we see it in the trailer. Anyway, that could have been.
It looked like you saw those towers in the background. Those
So I mean, we'll see, but.
And
I mean, there's so many small places. If we were to get rid of one, those like the pharmacy, the gas station, they're relevant for getting key items and a little bit of story between the USB-C guys, but they're not essential and they're so small. And either if you're gonna cut it, then go ahead and cut it. If not, make it just a little more interesting.
For sure. And if I had to pick one to cut, it would be the part just to enrage Tony. I'm just kidding. It would be it'd be the pharmaceutical area.
I would cut out the streets. just cut out all the streets.
Cut out all the streets. Yeah, I don't need it in the game. There's trash anyways. Oh God. All right, picking fights. That's just to get everybody ready for this next part. Okay, now into the not so good news. Okay, where should we start? The choice mechanism. The choice mechanism, as in the original. Which would offer different sequences of the game afterwards, or an advantage over danger. Basically, where you would make choices. You would pick that would have a little impact on the game overall, but it would change what you were doing in that moment. Fight Nemesis, don't fight Nemesis. Push him off the bridge, don't push him off the bridge. They're not coming back. Yeah, that's a big one for me. That's one of those ones that was kind of separated Resident Evil 3 from the other Resident Evil games. It was new to that game, and it offered tons of replayability. And to me, for the classic Resident Evil games, replayability is key. It was a step in the right direction to add those. It didn't really always have an effect on the story, but it would have an effect on what you were doing in that moment. Or am I going to be underground, or am I going to be above ground doing something different? And I thought that was really cool, and you wanted to go back after you beat it and try the different choices. And, like I said, it did change the ending too for a couple of them. But yeah, the fact that that's leaving, that's really unfortunate. That was a really cool thing I thought that they did in 3, and when they tried to do it again in 7, it was a terrible way of doing that. It just had no impact at all. It really didn't change anything other than the person that was sitting in front of you on the boat. So the fact that the game from 20
I was
years ago,
I was like, wait a minute, when did we make a decision in 7? Oh yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I remember now.
So
the pointless one.
The fact that a game 20 years ago could do it so well, it was, I don't know, it was cool. So I'm very disappointed to hear that. But what do you guys think? I guess we'll start with you, Ali. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I think that removing the actual gameplay mechanic of the choice sucks, but you still have that choice technically because you're in charge of Jill. So
true.
It's just not going to stop and ask you, do you want to fight or do you want to run? In this case, it's going to be your decision. Do I want to take him on and possibly get killed, or do I want to run to safety? And what I'm curious is, if you do decide to fight him, will you be able to pull items off of him, a reward like before?
Yeah.
Even though they're not directly asking you, whenever he pops up, if I drop him, am I able to pull something off of him? So that way it doesn't really get rid of the mechanic so much. It's still essentially there, but it's not there.
It's not in your
directly,
face.
It's not direct. Yeah, it's not directly asking you.
That's true.
So,
that's a good way to look at it. You have the choice. It's just the thing, I guess, is you can't. There's no real gameplay mechanic for activate the electricity unless you can walk over to the cord and it gives you the option. Then I guess they can still do it.
Like you said, that brings in the environmental things like you were talking about. If there's environmental ways to take him down, you actually have to go do it now.
Exactly. And if they did it that way, I'd be okay with it. Actually, I didn't think about that. What do you think, Tony?
Oh, it's terrible.
Horrible.
Oh, you're a knucklehead. I'll do a little Charles Barkley there. It just I mean, it's like you guys pointed out. It is like I was bummed out about hearing that at first, but if they do give us the option to like blow up a barrel or take down a wall that crushes the Nemesis for a little bit, or gets you out of this certain area, if they give you options that you don't see and you have to discover on yourself, I think that will add an extra layer to the game itself. Because back in the original for RE3, that was a big deal. Like that had not been done before in the other two games, so it was showing how these games were evolving when it came to this, and the fact that it's not in this one, it's a bit discouraging. But at the same time, I'm okay with it because as long as they give us some kind of option to do it, like, or there is something to do, we have to figure it out on ourselves. That's fine. I'm cool with that. And if it doesn't end up that way, then oh well. Let's hope everything else works out good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay, and then I guess that kind of segues us into our next topic, which is there will be no more multiple endings. There'll only be one more canon ending. So playing the game a certain way, it doesn't matter. It's going to end the same exact way, which some would say that, obviously Resident Evil 3 ends with the destruction of the city. But I guess it was a little more interesting that you would play it different ways and you'd have a little bit different cutscenes at the end. But that's gone. It's just one solid ending, which I personally feel like a lot of fans of the lore will be very happy to hear that, okay, it's this way, this is how it is. And that's that. But I don't know. What do you think, Tony, that they're kind of just doing one and getting rid of the multiple?
I mean, I think they're doing this because they want to not have to do extra programming. Not because like they're lazy or anything like that, but I think they just want to focus on the main story and not have to do like a different like ending and like spend more money. Again, not to say that they sound cheap, but I think they're doing it in order to keep you immersed.
I get that. Yeah.
Like I mean, they didn't. I mean, yeah, no, because there wasn't much difference at the end of how 3 technically ended. It was just, spoiler alert if you haven't played the game in the last 20 years. Barry comes to save you at the end, or if not, Nikolai flies away, and then Carlos finds a chopper or whatever like that. And I mean, honestly, my thing of it is, fine, do that one ending, give us Barry, give us the Barry that
Barry better be there.
Yeah, because I mean, this guy's gotten so much love over the years. Give him this, just give him a small cameo, flies in, saves the day type deal. Give us that little old school cheese, and I'd be happy. Because at the end of the day, as long as you give us a reason to go back and play the game, we don't need multiple paths or multiple endings or anything.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm not like bummed out about it. Like honestly, I will be bummed out if we don't get some kind of epilogue thing to unlock. I will be kind of bummed if they don't do something similar to that.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be an awesome throwback to have a new art style of those old epilogues. That would be really cool. What do you think, Ali, of only one ending? No more multiple endings, just one ending.
Yeah, it makes sense. For if they're trying to like rebuild the story and progress further if they do multiple remakes or, just going back and updating everything. I don't really remember too many games nowadays that have multiple endings.
It's true. I mean, well, the thing about that is, think about it. Back in the old days, didn't take that much to make a game. Now, these days, it costs quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, like, that's probably their big thing, because most companies these days, they want to make money, not lose it. And, I mean, some companies obviously lose sight of that, but at the end of the day, it is a costly thing. So if you can make the main game itself badass, you don't really need an ending, like a multiple ending type deal.
Yeah, as long as the story leaves me satisfied at the end, I'm not going to care about multiple endings.
Yeah.
And, like people are saying, like, Barry needs to be the one. If that's the only ending, it should be Barry. Just period.
Exactly. I agree 100%, dude.
Keep that continuity from the original and the storyline. And, well, I'm not too upset about multiple endings. It does kill some of the replay value. If they're taking away the choice system, obviously there's no reason to have several endings because, I mean, what can you really do different?
Exactly. And that's the only thing I was a little disappointed was, again, for that replayability. I mean, I don't know. I just thought that was really cool just to try different things and see what might be changed. But I guess if they put more time into the story and they're like, hey, this story is solid. We are happy 110% with this. And it was either multiple endings that were, we kind of threw together because we didn't have a lot of time, or just one solid ending. I guess I'm not as disappointed with it. What if we had 3 solid endings? But, it's okay, I guess, as long as the attention is there in the story, and the story is solid. And then... So then we got one more bit of bad news, kind of the nail in the coffin for me. Little disappointed and butthurt over this, but it looks like Mercenaries Mode, which was featured in the original game, will not return in the remake. I got a lot I want to say about this, but I kind of want to know what you guys what you guys think about it first, because to me it's a big deal. So I haven't really talked to a lot of people that really didn't care too much about Mercenaries, but
Well, that's surprising because we've known each other for 3 years, and I'm not a huge Mercenaries guy.
I don't know if we ever talked about it together.
No, I mean, I support it. I would like to have seen it because I know there's a lot of people who love it.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, I didn't really play it that much back then. I wasn't so much of a multiplayer person back then either, or even throughout the years until, like the last 6 years. Yeah. So I never got into Mercenaries Mode in any of the games. I would play it a little bit, but that was pretty much as far as it went.
Okay.
But cutting it out when it means so much to so many people is a mistake. And giving us Project Resistance in its place is also a mistake. Because, I mean, that's cool concept, but I think we're past that phase of gaming where that was really popular, that style of 4v1. I think that's kind of starting to trend away. And they're, again, Capcom at the end of a cycle, hey, let's jump on this.
Yeah.
And when they try and do these experimental things, dip it into other genres, it doesn't work too well. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because it will give us something to play. And, we're going to play it on the channel
definitely
a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun with it regardless. I mean, we enjoy Umbrella Corporation and Operation Raccoon City. We actually enjoy those when we play them as a team.
Yeah. There is fun to be had, for sure.
There is fun, with friends. But losing Mercenaries, I guess that really sucks for some people.
Yeah, that's where I'm a little disappointed. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah. I hope you're okay. I mean, okay, so I saw this coming. Unfortunately, I knew they weren't going to add this, especially when they took away, the extreme battle mode of Resident Evil 2. They didn't put it in Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, damn, they're not going to put it. If they ever remake 3, they're never going to put Mercenaries in. They might see that out like as an out to pasture type thing. And it bugs me a lot because, it's like Ali said, we're getting Project Resistance instead as the game mode. And apparently, that's canon. The stuff that happens in that is actually canon to the story.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense unless the characters unless the characters while they're in that testing facility are just canon by themselves. That could work, but the fact that we've seen that William Birkin is going to be there, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
No,
I don't want to get into that conversation because it doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll have to.
The gameplay part of it doesn't make any sense for canon. Like throwing, like I said, Birkin and all that stuff in there. But the bosses, I guess, the person, the manipulator, the game runner, or whatever they're called,
The Overseer, I think.
Overseer, yeah. I did see that. I'm blanking out. I want to call her Karen because that's the actor's name.
Yeah.
Oh, Annette.
Annette. Why am I? Wow, that's duh. I did see Annette is one of the characters that is an Overseer.
Yep.
So there are elements of that, but yeah, like you said, it doesn't make sense if you're throwing in someone like Birkin, or probably Nemesis is probably going to be an option too.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Gameplay
Actually,
wise, yeah. But
Proxy's in the chat, and he says Project Resistance is not canon. PlayStation got it wrong.
Cool.
I don't know if there was any confirmation that they get it wrong, other than Pete said to just read what he said in that article. But I do myself personally feel like it is incorrect.
Yeah. But yeah, back on topic for the Mercenaries. I am bummed out because I played so much of the Mercenaries with my buddies back in the day when we first got this game at launch and everything. Like, once we beat the game and we realized there was this mode to it, we kept trying to figure out like what we needed to do, like how, because like this is 1999. This is before YouTube and the internet, really. Like, the internet was still kind of in its infancy for a lot of things. You know, I mean, we had the guide at one point, but the guide was still kind of vague on how the hell you're supposed to rescue everybody in time type deal. Like, because you get to certain people and they were dead. So there is a certain way. So like there was like a
I do remember that.
Interesting aspect to the original Mercenaries and how you did everything, and playing it over and over was fun because it was a challenge because you only had a certain amount of ammo, and you know, to unlock all the weapons that are unlimited ammo and then get unlimited ammo for every gun was just that, like 9,999. That was great. Like, I mean, it was funny that they recycled Brian Irons from the second game.
Yep.
As the mysterious
who was that girl?
Who
was the blonde girl next to Brian Irons?
She was I think she may have been the girl from the Saf Sprint commercial, just with a different outfit.
Because as a joke, I said it was
random character model.
Yeah, as a joke, I said it was Hillary Clinton because she's in with all the shady people. Just a joke. To Crooked Hillary.
I'll have to go ask our friend Sonny about that. He might know, but you know, again, I am bummed out because the Mercenaries has become a very beloved mode. I mean, it got its own spin-off game for the 3DS, so people really did enjoy it, and I think it is kind of a mistake putting Project Resistance in, because much like what Ali said, is they don't have the best luck when they try to do something different, and this is pretty different. Now, Project Resistance, you know, JJ, you played the beta, and I was there too, but that left a lot to be desired just from a beta, because we don't know. And it's free, so, you know, like, it's not like we have to pay for it.
Exactly. Very true.
I just really think this game could have done better with a Mercenaries mode, and even had, like, Jill as a playable character. Like, if you beat it with all three characters, you unlock Jill. Or something like that, you know? Or hell, even like a mode where you play as the Nemesis and hunt down, like, the other mercenaries, you know?
Interesting, but does it fix the game itself? And that's all subject to opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel that at the end of the day, it's kind of a big mistake they didn't bring it back.
Yeah.
But maybe look at Lucky. Maybe Project Resistance will be that thing that stays alive for the game.
Maybe.
I mean, people are still playing Dead by Daylight and all those Friday the 13th. People are still actively
playing Operation Raccoon City on the PS3.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like that style, there's still a lot of people. There's a bunch of people that like that. Yeah. So maybe that will keep it around and keep it relevant until RE8 comes out or something.
Maybe also we'll get DLC that has Mercenaries. We don't know. Like, they haven't came out and said. But for me personally, I'm not here to hate on Project Resistance. I know a lot of people are excited for it. I personally I played it, the beta, and I enjoyed it more than I expected, but it was not really for me. It felt kind of like a mess. But, you know, like you said, with the team, with all of us playing together, it could be a lot of fun. But the thing is, I really did enjoy Resident Evil 3's Mercenaries Mode. It was one of the, I played Extreme Battle a little bit, but Mercenaries Mode was the one that I played a ton. So this is, again, speaking from my own self-experience. It was something that I was really hoping to see come back and how they would improve it with the remake. And the fact that it's cut is upsetting. But like I said, I'll give Project Resistance a chance, and I'm not going to hate on it. I just would have loved to see, Mercenaries come back, that same format, that same style. Tony, you've already explained, kind of how it plays out. But it was a lot of fun. But who knows? One thing I would have really liked to see is DLC for Resident Evil 2. I still think there was a lot of life that could have been told within that game with the stories.
Yeah, they didn't do enough with that. After the game came out, they just kind of left it. And they did a couple, the Ghost Survivor ones, but those weren't
canon. They would, which I'm thankful they put out free DLC. I am not complaining at all. But it would have been cool to get some canon lore, especially with how well and improved the acting was, and how deep the story went. Like, just take Kendo's original story to his new story, or Marvin, the amount of acting that was in that. Like, I would have loved to see more of what happened before or what happened after. That is canon. I think that would have been awesome. Good news is we did get an image from Xbox of Jill and Kendo together. Now, that could have just been a photo for the achievement, finding Jill's letter, or possibly Kendo will be in the Resident Evil 3 remake, which I think is a good possibility. But,
yeah, it's nice that they're stretching him out now, making him more of a character within the game than just the little bit that he initially had.
Yeah.
And I loved the way they wrote his story for remake too.
Oh,
that
definitely.
scene with his daughter was emotional, was very powerful, and maybe we'll see the bite. You know, maybe Jill will be involved in that somehow. I don't know. Maybe we'll see how she gets infected, and then the results of that down the road, which is going to make it even more emotional.
Exactly.
But then also, just to go back to the Project Resistance thing, I think that there's more hate on Resistance now that they said there is no mercenaries. It's not so much that we don't like it; we're just upset, so we're looking for something to blame.
Exactly, and I think a lot more people are lenient on Project Resistance when they announced that it was part of Resident Evil 3. I feel like them showing it off as its own game made a lot of people upset, and when they're like, hey, no, it's just an extra thing, then a lot more people were on board. Then when they said that Mercenaries Mode being included, they're like, I don't know what to feel. There's a lot of mixed feelings within the community, which is, everybody's got their preferences, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. But fingers crossed that maybe it shows up as DLC or something. That would be awesome.
For sure. And now, before we get into these leaks, which they're leaks, we can't guarantee they're true, whatever. We'll explain those. They're more recent. But I just want to give a shout out to everybody watching, guys. Thank you very much. I want to read some of the super chats and thank the people that have supported. Trashtown TV with a $10 super chat. Oh, we did read that one. Gibbs with a $5 super chat. He's got no question. He just says, "Row with love." Thank you so much, Gibbs. Rocky Gruber with a $10 super chat. I'm sorry if y'all already discussed this, but they said there's only one ending. Does this mean there won't be a second run mechanic with the true ending unlocked through that, like in Resident Evil 2 Remake? I would assume that would mean that there'd just be one true ending at the end of the game if they don't put in two parts.
I think if they do two campaigns, then you'll get two endings.
True.
But just saying that it's not multiple endings means that there won't be one playthrough where you have many options. If there's two campaigns, you'll still have two endings, but there'll only be one ending per thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. So thank you, Rocky. Trashtown TV with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Trashtown, again, with that $5 super chat. Has there been any announcement about the new trailer featuring Carlos? From what I've seen, no, but I'm thinking personally PAX South. I don't know that for sure. There's nothing to base that off of.
We hope.
We hope, yeah. But I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. And when that does drop, that we'll be talking about it. So definitely leave a subscribe to be notified when we talk about that. Wrestling with Evil with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Do you guys think you are going to be forced to use and learn the new dodge mechanic, and why? That's a really good question. I'll let you guys answer that first. What do you think about that? Do you guys think... Oh, sorry. I was going to repeat it in case you didn't catch it the first time.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be necessary. They're putting in the game, and I remember how essential it was in the original. So I think it's going to be a big part of your gameplay and survival is getting comfortable with that dodge mechanic. 2 kind of had one, but not really.
Yeah.
It was there in some form, but they specifically said in that, the discussion after they released the trailer that the dodge mechanic is back, and we saw that one quick clip of her dodging the right to dodge a zombie. So it's going to be a more impact, like essential part of your play style.
Yeah, definitely. Which I think is an awesome thing because with I guess how much more insane the city will be now that the outbreak is just starting, and with Nemesis it's a necessity. So I really do think that it would be cool if it was something to learn that you could just get good with, and then when you get speedrunners that are going through, they just mastered it. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, dodge mechanics like Dark Souls or something.
Exactly. What do you got? Anything you want to say on that, Tony?
It's all about timing.
For the dodge mechanic, it's definitely something that I'm interested to see because the original dodge mechanic, it's not that great. It was a great idea,
Yeah.
But man, if you're fighting the Nemesis in close quarters, that dodge mechanic will end up actually hurting you more than anything. Because like I remember like at the clock tower when I try to go behind the plants so like he can't hit me with the rocket launcher, he'll come down that small alleyway, and Jill can dodge, but she'll still get hit or she'll still get grabbed. So
you can't always guarantee you'll have it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping there's like an improvement to it. I don't really think we need to like maybe add like a. What's it called? Like an energy bar, like when she does it, kind of like what they did in Resident Evil 6, like how you could do like dodges and melee moves, but you would get tired really fast if you just spammed it. Maybe something like that, or just a dodge mechanic that just functions properly. Either way, I think there would definitely will be a necessity of survival for this game, because if this is taking place like obviously during the outbreak, and because we're seeing more chaos in these trailers and stuff. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is the chaos, and we're gonna need that to like dodge through and what have you. Because let's face it, like even two, like you get trapped in those corridors with like even like one zombie, it's kind of scary because they're bullet sponges and they took a lot of damage in that. So you know, you're on the streets and you're getting like 3 to 4 on the screen at once. Like you're gonna need that dodge mechanic.
Parkour.
Parkour.
So thank you so much for that question, Wrestling with Evil. And also Wrestling with Evil has joined and become a member with the Spade Key. Thank you so much for the support, man. Jimmy2266, another new member with the Spade Key. Thank you so much, Jimmy. We get
Sweet.
TechCom on here with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. What about multiple endings and Jill's infection? Now we talked about the multiple endings. Jill's infection, I think that's key to the story. I think I kind of liked how it played out, where you start before 2, then 2, then she gets infected, and you wake up after 2. And personally, I hope that it stays that way, which it would almost need to destroy Raccoon City, because obviously it couldn't be before Claire and Leon get there.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, too, if she doesn't get affected, then the events of Resident Evil 5 do not happen, because she was technically a key in developing the virus that Wesker was able to create Ouroboros with.
Resident Evil 5 remake confirmed.
Oh my god! Well, that's the thing though. Like they found traces of the T Nemesis virus in Jill when he captured her and stuff.
Yeah,
it was still like dormant in her and stuff like that, but it just wasn't gonna ever hurt her. But so he used that for the experiments in Africa.
So that's got to happen. There you go. Unless they want to remake 5 and go onwards, which I know a lot of people would want to see. So good question. Thank you, Sauce Boss. My boy Sauce Boss with a $2 super chat. He's got nothing to say but sauce. Thank you, Sauce Boss.
Sauce.
Hey, Corey from Row. He became a member, so thank you so much, Corey from Row. He's a Spade Key member.
Corey! Now donate.
Now donate.
I saw him spam his emote earlier.
Oh, that's what he was doing. That makes sense. The Trashdown TV with the $5 super chat. What do you guys think of the new designs for Jill, Carlos, and Nemesis? I guess we could touch on it really quick, but we actually have an entire podcast where we discuss this, the last podcast. So overall, I'm very happy. Nemesis took a little while to grow on me, like that nose, but eventually he did, and I'm okay with it. I can't wait to see it in game, because I think I'll enjoy it a little bit more when I see it in action. Still a little weird, his teeth, but whatever. Jill looks great, and Carlos looks great. Real quick, what do you guys think of the new designs?
Yeah, they look good. Like you said, the only iffy one is Nemesis, and when we get a trailer that shows a little bit more of him, we'll get to see him in action and see if it's really that big of a deal.
Yeah. Maybe he'll have a fedora.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the designs, Tony?
Oh yeah, no. Like when I first saw Carlos, I was just like, "That's it. I'm loving this. This is fan-friggin-tastic. I love his design." A lot of people were like, "Really? He looks so different." And I'm like, "Look, people, change is inevitable in games, and as long as the change actually looks good, I don't see a problem with it." A lot of people don't like the hyper realism that gaming is going for these days, but I think it's all right because they did it with Devil May Cry 5, and I'm just like, as someone who's played Devil May Cry since the original, I really like the change that they did from Devil May Cry 4 to 5. And I mean, Dead or Alive did it too. They went from really anime-looking guys and gals to, you know, really like more human-looking and stuff. So it's not a bad thing. And Nemesis design, it took a couple days for me to really just look at it and be like, all right, you know what, this motherfucker's gonna be chasing us. We ain't looking at no guy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, like I said, I like the new designs. I like Jill's new outfit and everything like that. I think it's more practical. I think, and plus you get her old outfit anyway, so nobody can really complain. And you get Carlos's old one too. So
didn't the Carlos's original outfit looks nothing like Carlos's original outfit. Compare them next to each other, not even close. But yeah, and we did get a new render of Carlos, and he looks jacked. So I don't know. I think he looks good though. But yeah, he's swole. Moving on to Corey from Row with a $2 super chat. Thanks again, Corey. He said game over. I don't know what that means. That sounds rude. Thanks a lot.
Game over.
What the hell, man? TechCom with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Who is Nemesis? Matthew Addison? Manoa Boxer? Who is Nemesis?
I don't think they need to explain who he is. I think they just need to leave it be as he's Nemesis.
Yeah.
He was, there was probably obviously a person that was experimented on and turned into it, but we don't need to dive into that kind of story.
Like the movies, I agree. We don't need to dive into that. We don't need to have.
That was just strictly to tie the movies together, and I always thought it was stupid. I was like, okay, so you just took what made Nemesis great was the fact that he was just a machine.
Yeah.
By making him have emotions at the end.
Yeah, that was stupid.
What was that?
We don't need a Terminator Nemesis that gets, that becomes good. No, we just want a Terminator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not the one from Terminator 2, but the one from Terminator 1.
Yeah.
No, but I will admit that when they did those comics, and you found out Nemesis was like a boxer and everything, and like his family was used, I was like, all right, that's kind of cool, I guess, but it seemed to work better in the comics than it did the movies, because I was just like, don't give the Nemesis feels.
Don't give him feels. Mm-hmm. Nemesis doesn't
the comics,
need feels.
It worked because it's what saved him against this, because he was fighting Birkin.
That's awesome.
You guys see that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was actually really cool. Like Birkin and fucking the Nemesis were duking it out like all over the streets of Raccoon City and shit. So, like I said, yeah, he doesn't need feels. We don't really need to explore a background to him at all. He's just
some unlucky soul that got wrapped up in a bad thing.
Or lucky because his blood was the right blood. He was one of millions. Perfect.
Yeah.
Good news for us, bad news for you.
Yo.
It's PhD and fucking you up.
Exactly. Silas Maldonado with a $1 super chat. His message, he retracted his message, but thank you so much for the support, man. And then last one was Murdoch Con K with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Murdoch. He says, what do you think about Marvin? Will we see him again? That's a really good question, because I'm hoping, since in Resident Evil 3 you play as Jill in the RPD before Leon and Claire get there, so if they could somehow tie in elements of Outbreak with Resident Evil 3, I think that would be awesome to have some interaction, like just as he's getting injured, or you meet up with him while he gets injured. And I don't know, I think there's a lot you could do there. Or maybe since Carlos is going to the RPD, Carlos could bump into him first. Maybe Carlos is an asshole and he's the reason why he got hurt. I don't know, but I want to see that. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, definitely having Marvin involved more would be awesome. Just to tie it together, because he was there, and that Jill goes to the police station before, obviously, so she's going to have to run into him. And in the original, you did run across him, didn't you? Wasn't he passed out?
Jill finds the corpse, yeah.
He was laying down, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that should still be an element involved in there. You should run across Marvin at some point, but I'd like to see him have some storyline, because the actor was so damn good in Remake 2. That was just phenomenal job of bringing that character to a whole nother level.
100%. You know what I think would be really cool is if Nikolai was a reason why he's like that, just to make us hate Nikolai all the more.
The Nikolai, shot Marvin?
Or he was like pushed a zombie into him or something. Like Nikolai was a reason why he got injured.
I mean, they are going to come across the RPD from what we saw.
Yeah.
So have it, maybe one of the USBC guys, Nikolai being the guy had a hand in it, would be interesting.
That'd be really cool.
Maybe Marvin catches him, talking about it or doing something he's not supposed to, and then that's how it happens or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there. What do you think? Are you? Do you want to see more Marvin, Tony?
Oh, he did.
No, it takes place before.
No, I know. Before. I mean, there was that fake leak where it was Marvin going down the hallway holding him, holding bloody, stomach and stuff, and it said, end of watch, which, for those of you who don't know what that means, that's, when an officer is killed on the job, that's end of watch for them. So,
that was,
I thought that was real.
No.
So I'm like, holy shit, that's putting thought into shit. So I was like, man, maybe this is true. But, yeah, I think it'd be great if we got to see him or something, because he became so much more than he was in the original Resident Evil 2 with how he was portrayed in Remake. And Nick has praised him up and down. The guy who acted as him, he praises him up and down for his acting as Marvin all the time. He did such a great job too, so he deserves that praise. So I think that if Capcom's really thinking on how this is going to go, this is the time for that.
I still think that if they were to come back and be like, okay, End of Watch was not BS, we actually did have this, and we were waiting, and they released it like next month or March as a prequel to 3, where you get to play as Marvin. That would be fucking awesome.
Dude, that would be really fucking awesome. That would be amazing.
Be smart.
I would pay for that.
And that way you can interact with Jill before you get to play, or you get to see like they're having a discussion. She's like, I have to go to my apartment and get my supplies or whatever, get my gear. And then that's when, then end up you pick it up 3 where she's at her apartment.
I like that idea a lot. I do. Really want that to be a thing now.
I doubt it. I doubt it, but it sounds nice.
Damn, that would be a cool way to, we had the demo for Resident Evil 2 before it came out. That would be a really cool way to demo that in, to tie 2 in with 3, and to just introduce us back into that world. I think that would be fantastic.
It would be cool, too, if we see beforehand, like, the police officers in the RPD, and if Marvin's there, it'd be cool to see some of those Outbreak characters, too. Like Rita or Kevin,
Yeah, for sure. Seeing Rita back would be really cool. And, I mean, definitely if we're going to get an Outbreak remake, then don't worry about it. I want to see an Outbreak. But if we're not, I kind of want to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they hinted towards it in RE2 remake.
Yeah, that's what I really want. That's what I really want, a remake of Outbreak. That's what I want next. Because, god damn, man, that'd be so good. Okay, let's move into the leak. And now, like I said, grain of salt, huge grain of salt. All the grains of salt, because this was on Reddit. It's been shared with me multiple times. Tons of people. I don't know if this is real or not, but it creates a good discussion. It's interesting, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. But we'll see soon. So we won't go over it too much. We'll just touch on it quick. But new info from Games D on Nemesis. 4 studios are involved in RE3 Remake's development. I'm pretty sure I've seen this as I seen logos from 4 different studios out there, so that seems legit to me. I mean, you would probably have one team working on Resistance, and then the 3 other teams. I mean, that's a lot of. It does worry me a little bit. A lot of hands in the cookie jar. But from what I've seen so far, and from what Capcom's done with Resident Evil 2 remake and Devil May Cry, I trust them. So it's fine. I just want to see the game. I'm sure it'll be fine. Are you guys too worried about 4 studios being involved in 3 remake?
No, we heard about some leaks before about RE3 being handled by a different company. So we kind of had an idea that it might be passed around or some other hands might be involved. But like you said, they earned some trust back with the last 2 with RE. Well, even the last few years they've been hitting on all cylinders. So
yeah,
except for the fighting game division.
Yeah, let's just hope that somebody hands in the pot don't mess that up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I saw they show in the trailer that the company. I looked up the company that's helping work on this or whatever, and because they said they got all these people working on it, and it turns out it's more Capcom people and people from Platinum Games, the ones who made Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising. So I'm kind of okay, there's some pretty talent. There's some talent there. I like that. And I think if all the teams just actually keep in touch with one another and nothing gets lost in translation, it could turn out to be good. Because again, we were saying, you've got Mega Man 11, which sold very well. You've got Monster Hunter World, which is now Capcom's best-selling game of all time, beating out Street Fighter 2. Everything that Capcom has done with the Resident Evil series, Devil May Cry, they are literally killing it. Again, their fighting game division needs a huge revision, but other than that, they're back on top. They're like Capcom at this point, so they have a pretty decent understanding, I would say, that they know what needs to be done.
Trust them. I trust them right now.
Yeah, I trust them too. I feel that at the end of the day, I think what they've done so far with Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2 Remake, I think they have a general idea of where to go with this.
We'll find out soon.
It blows my mind that we've had 3 Resident Evil games in the last 4 years.
That's awesome.
Good Resident Evil games.
Good. Yeah, I was gonna say good games. That's very important. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know what 3. Hopefully 3 will be good.
Yeah, we don't know.
We'll find out.
And 7 had some issues, but I still liked it. I still thought 7 was a good game. It was fun.
Definitely.
If Resident Evil 3 sucks, I will not wear my sunglasses on streams anymore.
Oh my God!
Oh, are you gonna be able to see?
No.
All right, yeah, that's actually a good point. We'll figure out something.
It was supposed to be for 200,000 subscribers. Tony has an epic eye reveal, so that's when he removes his glasses. Is 200,000 subscribers. Epic eye reveal. All right, moving on to the next one.
Prepare your barrels for imminent release. People's faces are gonna be melting like the Nazis in like Indiana Jones.
Don't look into his eyes. Nemesis New Design was originally meant to be a first rough idea concept, but the person who made it, the design, left shortly after creating it. Instead of putting more money, resources into it, they simply left it like that. Maybe, okay. I mean, it's not as, like, at first I didn't think it was as good as the original. Now I'm okay with it, so it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, for a first draft, not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
It could probably be a little better, but I'm like I said, it's growing on me a little bit. I'm not. Yeah, I don't really have much to say on that. What do you guys think? Cool.
I'm not too concerned with the design. I'm more concerned about how it plays.
100%.
How is he gonna interact? So I think when we're in the gameplay, the look is probably not going to be as important. We're probably not going to be so much paid attention to some of those features.
Yeah.
That's true. And then I guess that leads us to the last bit of leaks. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. There's 4 mutation stages. Stage 2 is apparently looking a lot better, and Stage 1 includes a mask covering his face. That's cool to me. The fact that he's changing is very much like the original. The fact that we get 4 mutations, I think that's awesome. I'm glad that they're doing that. Having a mask over his face in Stage 1, that's interesting because his outfit kind of looks like bags, like a body bag or something. So just have him be like fully in a bag coming at you would be pretty interesting. And then it kind of rips off as he starts like ripping out of this bag or whatever's supposed to be containing him. I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see this. This to me, if true, is a good leak. What do you guys think?
Yeah, mutations is really good. I think you need to have that to up the ante every time. His next mutation is going to be worse, but the mask thing is confusing. So they sent him in to eliminate the stars after the outbreak started.
Yes.
Right? Which they did the same thing with Mr. X. They sent him in later after the outbreak started, but they designed Mr. X to infiltrate and to somewhat blend, even though he didn't blend.
No.
Fedora 9-foot tall dude with the fedora and his face is falling off. But is he going to look more like Mr. X? Like with the fake, Mission Impossible style, just one of those blank faces that doesn't have, it's just a mask you pull over, and he's gonna have a fedora on, but he's gonna be wearing a trash bag.
That would be way more terrifying if he had a mask of a face, a normal face. That would be horrifying.
Yeah, but I did think that his evolution of mutations was part of like when we were talking about before, talking about how his face looks stretched, like the skin's ripping back because it's growing abnormally. And that's why his nose is all twisted, and you get to see all the sinew and nasty good stuff coming from like the cheeks and where the skin's ripping. So it's going to be very visceral, which is what I'm looking forward to. I want to see, like, as he's mutating, it needs to look disgusting. It needs to look like the Thing, basically. It needs to be a monster from the Thing.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the best way to put it. If he's going to have transformations, he's got to just like completely becomes something different almost every time. Like that would, I mean, because like Birkin kind of started that trend in his game because the G virus just keeps mutating. Even like when you just keep fucking it up and everything like that, it just keeps mutating. I mean, look what it became like at the end when he was on the train. It was just this giant friggin' blob. And
where it's basically just melting into nothing, but it's just a blob of teeth.
Exactly. Yeah, like so, the mutation has just gone fully out of control. There's no stopping it.
Yeah, and Nemesis, look what happened to him at the end. I mean, like, that was the thing about the Nemesis in the third one. Like, when he transformed that first time, like, when Carlos returns with the cure, and he just busts through the fucking wall like the Kool-Aid guy on steroids and shit. Like, yeah, he's got, like, massive tentacles everywhere. So you have to keep dealing with that for the rest of the fucking game as Jill. And then the creepiest fucking thing, which a lot of people don't, like, take notice of this or may not have noticed it, is when you fight him in that final area where he's still himself and like you dump the acid on him. Yeah. His head falls off and he still attacks you. His arm falls off too. He's got one arm left, but he still goes.
That was really cool.
Yeah, like I'm just like, what the fuck is this thing? Like
how does he
they have like seriously, like he loses that. He falls into that like that disposable area. His body gets dumped, and it grows like a mouth, and he eats that other tyrant, and then mutates and gains everything back.
Dude.
So,
could you imagine seeing him eat a tyrant with the RE engine? How fucking cool that would be!
I really hope that's a thing at the end of the game.
He eats Mr. X. That would be epic.
That would be cool. Maybe that's where he gets his mask. He just rips Mr. X's face off.
That would be sweet.
I did see something funny posted in the chat about wearing like the dead president's mask, like they do in Point Break. You know?
Oh yeah,
it's a Richard Nixon mask.
Yeah, Richard Nixon mask. I am not a crook.
Oh god, the fedora would be great with that. Perfect.
The fedora's just like fused into the skin.
Oh god. Oh god. Just pick it up and wear it.
Capcom, hire us. We have ideas.
Yeah. I don't know if they're good ideas, but they're ideas. All right.
Good ideas.
Yeah.
So that wraps it up for the new information and the leak. So, yeah, there was a lot that we've seen since we had our last podcast. So there was a lot to talk about. It was a very packed episode. I guess now if you guys have any questions for us, we'll take a couple of them. While you guys are asking your questions, we did get another super chat here, so I just want to give a shout out to Isaiah for that. So Isaiah said, with a $2 super chat, thank you so much, Isaiah. He said, they should remake RE6 and replace Piers for Jill. That's a tricky one because I'm not a big fan of Resident Evil 6. Not very much at all.
Piers became one of the shining points of that game.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
People really like Piers, yeah.
Yeah, I like a lot of side characters. I'm kind of like, okay. But Piers is one, and Cheval was another one that I actually liked. I liked Piers' story. I like his heroic turn at the end, which I maybe could have been a little different. But regardless, I did like Piers as a character. Now, I do want to see Jill and Chris again, 100%. But I feel it needs to be their game and not 10 other people's game. And so that's why with Resident Evil 8, I would love to see the return of Jill and Chris together, working together, with no input from anywhere else.
And Barry.
And yeah, cameo or something.
The original 3. Yeah, not as maybe playable, but the original 3 in kind of mission again.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
All I can hear in my head right now is like Jill and Chris together working on a mission, just hearing just the two of us.
And they sing it together. They sing it when they're going to the mission.
Oh my god. Somebody make an AMV of that now, please.
Oh god, that would be amazing. Okay, so
Chris is trying to play the piano and he's just banging on the keys horribly.
I don't know how to play this. Jill's supposed to be doing it.
Just punch it until it sounds good.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get into some more questions here. Victor asked, do you think they're going to add Mercenaries as a DLC? We did discuss this earlier. I really hope so. I don't. If they follow the Resident Evil 2 remake, probably not. But I mean, personally, I really hope so. Do you guys have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think we covered it pretty in depth. I would like to see it show up as DLC, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
Same. DLC. Or hell, even if you're not going to throw Mercenaries in at all, do something like a raid mode, because raid mode in Revelations 2, that's actually a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the replay value for that's like extremely high. But yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't include that. There's a lot of games that have raid mode, and it's surprising that Resident Evil didn't include it in this.
Yeah,
one.
and the style that we play Resident Evil like remake, remake 2 and remake 3 in, it's the same pretty much as Revelations 2. So it would make sense that they could do a raid mode type thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Rocky says, does anyone think Capcom should buy the rights to Dead Space and remake it? Dead Space is my favorite game of all time. Capcom is one company I feel could do it justice. So that is an interesting question. I feel like, yeah, obviously EA killed Dead Space. I didn't play through all 3 games, so it's hard to tell kind of where it went. I just know a lot of people were disappointed.
Yeah, I never finished 3. I loved 1, I loved 2, but I never finished 3.
So you could speak on it better.
That's what killed the series, unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you guys think Capcom would be a good fit for that?
Yeah, but I don't think those games need to be remade yet. I think they're still really, 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 really damn good as they are. Even like Dead Space 1 is 10 years old. And it still stands up as a freaking great horror game with really good mechanics. But I guess, yeah, I mean, it would still be cool. The game that they need to buy is Silent Hill from Konami.
I agree.
And bring that back.
As far
That's
as
what needs to come back.
I'd be okay with them buying Silent Hill, that's for sure.
Yeah.
As far as Dead Space goes, I don't know a lot on the story because, like I said, I didn't beat them all. But I do love the world because I did read one of the books that had a really interesting story.
Yeah.
And I feel like not remake it, but more tellings within that universe. I would be very happy with.
Let's leave Isaac alone and dive into some of the other interesting things, because there really was a very interesting backstory behind the markers and the cults, and that's the kind of stuff that we wanted to see. But now the game series is dead, so it sucks. We got like teases of it in some of the anime movies, but that series is one that needs to come back to.
Yeah,
it never
definitely
got its full due.
And I don't want to see you beat a dead horse, but if I feel that there's more to tell within there and it's got a really good foundation, then why not do a few more with a new character and give them an arc and actually plan it out and not just make it by game. And that's one thing I hope Resident Evil 7 had a trilogy game plan, and they're not just going to be like, okay, we're just making it up as we go, because I feel like that's not how you tell a good arc, and that's not how you tell a good story. I feel like it should be planned out. If you want to make one game, by all means, if you're going to put all that time into one game, perfect. But if you're thinking about making a trilogy, you got to plan that out.
4, 5, and 6 for Resident Evil really did not feel like a trilogy.
No, they had very similar play styles, but
they felt like, we have an idea, let's go with it. Okay, who are we going to throw in there? Let's throw Chris in this one. Okay, who's his partner? Because you got to have a partner, apparently. Sheva. Okay, give him Sheva. It didn't. And then 6 was something completely different, and 4 was different. 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, they all felt like they were part of a storyline.
Yes, for sure.
And then it just went off. the rails. So hopefully,
and Revelations belongs in there as well. Like Revelations 1 and 2 still kind of connects to the older games in many ways, while still being its own brand new thing. So
hopefully 8 will continue on a new trilogy. But
they got to finish up the Revelations. They got to give us Revelations 3.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. I think we should get a Revelations 3. But as far as comparing those to with the story of the originals, to me personally, I wasn't a big fan of them. But
because they're more their own standalone games.
Yeah,
it's just, we know that since the fall of Umbrella, now everybody else is experimenting in some kind of new virus. So before the BSAA is a thing, they're the FBC and everything. So or something like that in Revelations 1. Mm-hmm. So it's just showing how Revelations 1 was just a setup for the BSAA. Pretty much is what that was.
To fill in the blanks of how they got started.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I found myself playing 5 what the hell? I was like, what is this? Who's the BSAA? What are we doing?
Why is it?
Chris explains it while driving in a Jeep, and that's about it.
Yeah, I was like, what happened to everything else?
Didn't feel like Resident Evil at all, but it was a lot of fun co-op. A ton of fun. Ton of fun. Okay, I guess we can now move in. So everybody, thank you for the questions. We appreciate it. We can kind of move into what's going on here at the Row, and it's early in the year, a lot of big things going on. So I guess I'm gonna put you on the spot, Ali. I'm gonna throw it over to you. What do we got going on?
Well, obviously the big thing next weekend, we are going to be in San Antonio for PAX South.
ROE Theme.
This is huge, man. I'm so excited. You guys, if you've been with us for 3 years or you're new, that the road team has never met in person. We've never seen each other. We've never hung out together. Everything we do has been online. And it's insane that 3 years later, we're finally going to meet. We're going to celebrate big. We're going to PAX as a team. We're bringing Nick with us. And we're doing a live panel, live podcast. We're going to do meet and greets. We're going to do all kinds of cool stuff. It's going to be awesome. So if you guys are going to PAX or you live in San Antonio, there's still passes available. We're going to be doing our panel on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. in the Cactus Theater?
Yep, Cactus Theater. Cactus.
Yeah, Cactus Theater. 2:30, it's an hour block that we get. We're going to do the live podcast. We're going to go over some more RE3 stuff. If anything's announced, we're going to show some Vigil stuff.
Yeah, we're definitely going to show some Vigil stuff. I'm excited for that.
Yes, and then we're going to be talking about our love of survival horror. We're going to be talking with Nick about other things going on, his thoughts about all this stuff, because you know that he's a big fan of Resident Evil as much as we are.
And
he wanted to, Yes.
For those that don't know, Nick Apostolidis is the voice and motion capture actor for Leon Kennedy in the Resident Evil 2 remake. So yes, we are going with Leon himself, who will be cosplaying Leon, which does a fantastic job. It looks just like Leon. We're going with Leon.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you guys saw if you are on the Facebook page and all that stuff, we shared the three, the trio, Nick, Jolene, and Stephanie all went to SatCon. The was it
Sac Anime out in Sacramento, California.
Yeah, Sacramento. They went as a group. They did their meet and greets and all that stuff. And what's awesome is Nick and Stephanie went in costume.
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome. They went as their characters, and Jolene wore our shirt, which is awesome.
Jolene was repping the row. Thank you so much,
I know,
Jolene.
she's sporting the row so much, man. It was just cool to see that. But yeah, he's showing up. He's bringing his cosplay. Unfortunately, he can't bring any of his guns for the cosplay because there's strict convention rules for cosplay and weapons.
So you're telling me I can't bring my Broom of Doom? Damn it!
I don't know, man.
I told you couldn't bring that.
That's a very, very lethal weapon.
Toucans fear that weapon.
Everything fears the Broom of Doom.
It's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait. We're going to be hanging out at the convention. Friday night, we're kind of like doing a team thing. We're going to do a stream for everybody. We're going to go to a friend of mine's house who lives there, and we're going to play some RE4. We're going to hang out as a team. We're going to shoot some pool, play some beer pong, do a live stream with everybody so they can kind of see us, celebrating being together for the first time.
I called Nick's my partner.
Oh, that's fine. I got mine. That's my brother down there. So
Leon Kennedy and beer pong. All right, let's do it.
Oh wow!
Only if he's a costume. Yeah.
Bob, I'm sorry, Bob Spaghetti, you're cool, but Leon's my partner.
Bob and Corey are teaming up to take your ass down.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say that. We're also bringing Bob and we're also bringing Corey. So
yes,
if you want to meet the Spaghetti Man or the Sleepy Dude, then,
he's trying to be known for dancing now. He's here in the chat.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did the dancing thing. Oh yeah, and for all those of you guys who can't make it, you want to see what we're doing. I will be tagging along with all my photography equipment. I'm going to be doing like shoots, and I'm going to be doing video. So I'm going to film like all the behind the scenes stuff. I know JJ, you got yourself a nice camera recently too, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so like we'll be like recording everything, and we're gonna throw everything up in a video for you guys, most likely to show you exactly like what you guys missed out on. Because I know like a lot of people were asking me on Twitter, it's like, hey, like is there a way we're gonna be able to see everything?
So, yeah, I'll walk around with a GoPro.
Yeah, as far as like the convention, all the cool stuff behind the scenes, we're gonna do a video for that. Now the panel itself, initially when we set this up with PAX, they were putting us in a theater that would be on the live stream for the PAX event on Twitch, I believe. But
so we'll be live.
I don't think that's the case now because the guy, my point of contact, got back to me. He said, "Hey, I think the Cactus Theater is not a live stream one. Is that okay?" I was like, "At this point, it's fine. What we'll do is we'll do the audio recording.
Yeah.
And then we will also have a behind the scenes with some footage. You'll probably get to see footage of the panel. You'll get to hear the podcast because it's going to be a podcast that we're going to upload, and then you'll get to see all the behind the scenes stuff. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We'll definitely document it.
Saturday is the panel, but Saturday night we're planning like a dinner type meet and greet out in town, depending on what the attendance looks like. If people want to go out, and we can hit up the Riverwalk down there, grab some dinner, find a place, have a couple drinks. There's a big group of people that will accept us.
Roll call.
Yeah, the roll call. And then we're also going to have a unique poster for this event. Have you put the poster up on Facebook, right? So everybody got to see it. That really cool
the
poster.
one with us, yeah, not the other one though that I showed just you.
No, the one of us, and that's Uni did it for us. Uni does a lot of art for us. He's done some art for visual and stuff as well. So if you're there, we're going to be bringing at least 50, maybe more. We might also have a visual poster.
Yeah, a really cool one. I'm super excited to show off.
Yeah, so we're going to be getting all these prepared this week, and then we're bringing them with us. So if you're going, you can get one or both. You can have, Nick sign it. Nick's on the poster with us. We will sign it if you want us to. I don't know why you would, but it's going to be a blast. So we're going to be there the whole weekend, doing our things. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities to hang out with us and just kind of, see us in person and just chill.
Definitely. I can't wait, dude. I am so excited. I've never been out of this small town, never been to a big gaming convention where I'm with like a bunch of other really cool people that are interested in the stuff I am. So just to go meet everybody and just to get to experience that sort of lifestyle that I've never seen before in person. I can't wait, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. This is going to be so cool. We're all excited. Nick is super excited. I know, it's going to be really cool.
Less
and
than
we're
a week
hoping
away.
You guys come. Yeah,
definitely. So hope to see you guys all there. If for some reason you can't, we'll definitely document it. It will be there. It'll be available. So thank you guys all so much. Do we have anything else coming up that we would like to talk about? I think we pretty much hit it all. PAX and more Vigil stuff this year. It's the beginning of the year, so there's going to be a lot of big things coming this year. We had that partnership with Biohazard Declassified, which we're working on some things too, so stay tuned for that. A lot more Vigil coming up.
Interviews coming up.
Interviews.
Down the road. More interviews. We're going to be doing more team stuff. We're having a meeting when we get back from PAX to kind of plan out our year. So you guys will see some of these things we're talking about unfold, and we're going to kind of lock down what this year is going to look like for the row.
For sure. It'll be cool. We're already talking about it. So thank you guys all so much for watching today. I want to give a shout out, as I said before, to our Heart Key members and our Patreon Master of Unlocking members. So real quick, I'm going to shout you guys out. We got Mason Olkey with a Heart Key, Gibbs, Sigma Later, Zem Bamzem. That's a cool name. I think I said that last time too. The Crystal Wyvern, sorry. Pre Ocho Cinco, Hectic Pain, Eddie Jr., IzabelaMc, Ruler 206, and ProXY One Creations. So that's our YouTube Heart Key members. Thank you guys so much for the support. We really appreciate it. And then to our Masters of Unlocking on Patreon, Eddie Jr., Christopher Sedrick, Devon L, Dusseau, Trent Overton, ProXY One, and IzabelaMc. Thank you guys so much for supporting the Residents of Evil. That, means a lot to us. We really appreciate it. To everybody watching tonight, thank you guys so much. You guys are what makes things like PAX possible. So thank you so much for all this continued support and into the new 2020, new decade. Thank you guys for all being there with us. We appreciate it. That's about it. I can't wait to see you guys at PAX, and I guess we'll see you again soon. Anybody else? Yeah. Anything you guys want to add before we head out?
Nope.
Oh, actually,
okay.
one more thing. On our Road Twitter, we are almost at 10,000 followers. So if everybody has a Twitter and they would like to follow us, so you can actually see all the updates that are happening as they happen at PAX East. PAX South.
PAX South,
you can go follow us over at twitter.com/Row Network, and hit the like button, and you'll be able to follow us on everything we do.
Let's hit 10K.
That's probably
Wait, it's already at 10K?
Let's hit it.
Oh, okay. I thought you said, I was like, oh shit, what changed in the last 4 hours?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Is if you're not following us and you're going to PAX, make sure you do, because that's where we're going to be posting updates about what's going on.
Very true. Good point, guys.
So make sure you're following that if you're not already.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Roll Podcast. As always, we appreciate it. And we hope to see you guys back at the Residents of Evil. Good night, everybody.
Peace.